Where did this entire journey began from? कहाँ से शुरुआत करी? क्या-क्या किया? Let's talk about that a bit.
तो
How's been the journey
इसके
till
लिए
now?
तो my first exposure to magic professionally was जब मैं 11 साल का था. I was a kid who जिसको बहुत लड़ झगड़ की चीजें बोलनी चाहती थी. One of the things that always used to get asked was कि आप समर कैंप में जाओ. जैसे ही समर हॉलीडेज होती थी, हर माँ बाप को होता है कि बच्चे से छुटकारा मिलेगा कुछ टाइम के लिए, घर पे नहीं बैठे रहेंगे. So I used to be sent to a summer camp when I was 11. बहुत लड़ झगड़ के भेजा गया था to this place called तीर्थन, कुल्लू मनाली के पास है. It's a small village, and I went there. And there was one magician there. His name was Shamuddin Khan, and I met him, and he taught me two tricks. He was my first magic teacher. उन्होंने मुझे दो ट्रिक सिखाए थे. एक कार्ड ट्रिक था और एक कॉइन ट्रिक था. वो दो ट्रिक I performed for 2 years for every single person that I met multiple times to a
Okay.
point. सबको पता था कि कैसे हो रहे हो tricks. Everyone had figured them out. Everyone around me knew how they are done because I did a
Okay.
bad job of them. So that was my first exposure to magic. That's the first time I met anyone who does any kind of magic. And then I started learning a little bit on my own. I did research online. I saw a few famous magicians. और ये सब देख देख के automatically I developed this love for this art form. And this art form की वजह से I started performing more and more and more. And then it became a career before I knew it. So it's just the journey it just happened because I was at a summer camp. If I had not
Right.
gone for that summer camp, my life would have been very, very different.
Hi, Karan.
Hello,
Welcome
hello,
to the
hello,
show.
hello. How are you,
Hello.
man? Thank you
Welcome.
so much for having me.
I'm doing good. Thank you so much. Of course, you do not need any introduction, but let me
Thank you.
quickly introduce you. So, Karan Singh Magic is a prominent name in terms of the magic industry. He's a performer. He has performed for Virat Kohli, Hrithik Roshan, Jackie Shroff, Vidya Balan, Amir Khan, Priyanka Chopra, Arjun Rampal. You name a celeb, this guy has performed for them. He's performed for several YouTubers. He runs a huge successful YouTube channel with more than 3 lakh subscribers. I hope I get that number someday. And Karan introduces himself as a psychological illusionist, a mind reader, a magician. And I said he's now a very prominent and successful YouTuber. So thank you so much, Karan, for signing up for this. Thank you so much for accepting the invite and coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm बहुत excited. This should be a lot of fun. I've been
Yes,
talking to you backstage. हम 5-7 मिनट बात कर रहे थे. So this is very exciting.
yes.
I can't wait to see what happens.
Perfect. So let me start with the first very basic and most prominent question, and I'm sure ये question सुन के आप परेशान हो चुके होंगे, जवाब दे के परेशान हो चुके होंगे, but let me still ask this: what is a psychological illusionist? होता क्या है?
तो ये टर्म मैंने बनाया. कुछ नहीं होता है, कुछ भी हो सकता है. ये this is something that I've come up with. So see, with magic, I think जब मैं magic शुरू करा था, तो लोगों का सबसे important चीज होता था कि magic is किसी को काट के दिखाओ, कोई चीज गायब करके दिखाओ. That is the idea of
Okay.
magic that people had. There was nothing else beyond that. तो जब when I started doing mind reading, when I started performing, खाली अगर मैं magic बोलता था, people's first thought was कि हमारा 2 साल का बच्चा है, उनके लिए perform करो. It was never कि किसी बड़े लोगों के लिए भी perform हो सकता है. So I had to come up with a term which sounds good, और मैं थोड़ी सी psychology use करता हूँ to figure out what somebody is thinking of. Magic is also illusion, तो मैं illusion भी use करता हूँ. So it's just those two things mixed. I'm mixing psychology and illusion. I mix modern magic, I mix traditional psychology, और जब दोनों को fuse करते हो, you can give the illusion that you can read minds. That is pretty much what I do. That is what a psychological illusionist.
So have you been able to now been able to put it into the dictionary? अभी आ गया dictionary में, has it become urban dictionary में तो आ ही गया होगा.
Karan Singh dictionary में, and it's on YouTube dictionary, and it's on my. जो people who watch me, they know it. Nobody else, I think, will know what it is. Hopefully,
Fantastic.
10 years. Give me 10 years. I will get it in the Oxford dictionary.
No, you have our best wishes, and we're sure it will be there one day. So, Karan, let's go back little in time, and let's start talking about how you started and from where you start. Where did this entire journey began from? कहाँ से शुरुआत करी? क्या-क्या किया? Let's talk about that a bit.
तो
How's been the journey
इसके
till
लिए
now?
तो my first exposure to magic professionally was जब मैं 11 साल का था. I was a kid who जिसको बहुत लड़ झगड़ की चीजें बोलनी चाहती थी. One of the things that always used to get asked was कि आप समर कैंप में जाओ। जैसे ही समर हॉलीडेज होती थी, हर माँ बाप को होता है कि बच्चे से छुटकारा मिलेगा कुछ टाइम के लिए,
Hmm.
घर पे नहीं बैठे
Hmm.
रहेंगे। सो आई यूज्ड टू बी सेंट टू अ समर कैंप व्हेन आई वाज 11। बहुत लड़ झगड़ के भेजा गया था टू दिस प्लेस कॉल्ड तीर्थन, कुल्लू मनाली के पास
Okay.
है। इट्स अ स्मॉल विलेज एंड आई वेंट देयर and there was one magician there. His name was Shamuddin Khan, and I met him and he taught me two tricks. He was my first magic teacher. उन्होंने मुझे दो ट्रिक सिखाए थे, एक कार्ड ट्रिक था और एक कॉइन ट्रिक था। वो दो ट्रिक I performed for 2 years for every single person that I met multiple times to a
Okay.
point सबको पता होता है कैसे हो रहे हो ट्रिक्स। Everyone had figured them out. Everyone around me knew
Okay.
how they are done because I did a
Okay.
bad job of them. So that was my first exposure to magic. That's the first time I met anyone who does any kind of magic. And then I started learning a little bit on my own. I did research online. I saw a few famous magicians. और ये सब देख देख के automatically I developed this love for this art form. And this art form की वजह से I started performing more and more and more. And then it
Hmm.
became a career before I knew it. So it's just the journey was, it just happened because I was at a summer camp. If I had not
Right.
gone for that summer camp, my life would have been very, very different.
So, Karan, tell us and tell our audience what are the skill sets that one needs to learn and pursue and understand and kind of run through a long time in order to get into this field and domain.
The first thing, the most important thing, कोई भी किसी को भी, not just magic, any art form that you want to get into, the most important thing is love. You have to learn to love what you do. अगर जो चीज अगर ऐसी हुई जिस चीज से आप प्यार करते हो, you will never feel like you're working. Your entire life will be fun because you love what you do. If you fall in love with your career, it'll fill a major part of your life. तो अगर आप उससे प्यार करते हो, it'll be the biggest blessing. So find something that you truly love. That's the first thing that's very
Hmm.
important. Not just for magic, but any art form. Magic even more so art form ऐसा है कि अगर आप emotionally invest हो जाओ तो it'll be even better. And
Hmm.
after that, once you have that, yes, there's a certain lot of hard work, extremes amount of hard work, because आपको चीजें देखनी पड़ेंगी online. कई बार होगा, अगर अभी तक मेरे साथ होता है, if I'm learning a new trick, let's say it's a card trick, I'll be standing in front of a mirror doing a trick, और वो cards गिरेंगे जमीन पे. And because you love it,
Hmm.
it will break your heart. The thing that you love the most will break your heart the most. वो cards गिरेंगे जमीन पे, आप stage पे होगे, आप अपनी line भूल जाओगे. So you have to keep working at it. You have to keep performing. You have to work very hard at it. When I started with magic, जब मैं 11 साल का था, like I was telling you, initially I used to spend 14, 15 hours every single day learning magic. Every single day, 14, 15 hours was spent trying to come up with new tricks, trying to stand in front of the mirror and perform, trying to perform for my friends, family. 14-15 घंटे दिन में आराम से समर हॉलीडेज में सिर्फ वही करता था मैं, और कुछ भी नहीं करता था. After that, from there, that hard work will pay benefits, because if you put in that amount of time, automatically you will be a master at it. Another thing, अगर आपको third चीज बोलनी हो, that is within magic, you have to have a certain अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ पीपल के लोग किस तरह से रिएक्ट करेंगे, लोग क्या बोलेंगे, आप उनको क्या बोलोगे जिस चीज पे उनको इमोशनली कनेक्ट होगा. बिकॉज एनी काइंड ऑफ मैजिक दैट यू डू, एनी काइंड ऑफ परफॉर्मेंस दैट यू डू, इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट यू कनेक्ट विद पीपल. तो अलग अलग चीजें पढ़ो, रीड अबाउट पीपल, सी व्हाट दे लाइक. इट्स नॉट अबाउट यू. मैजिक, पीपल थिंक मैजिक हो रहा है, कुछ बहुत इंपॉसिबल सी चीज होगी. इनहेरेंटली मैजिक इज अबाउट द पर्सन दैट यू आर डूइंग इट फॉर, because it is about them.
Hmm.
कोई भी मैं ट्रिक करता हूँ, कहीं पे भी करता हूँ, it's about the person and it's about what they feel. So understand what people feel like. Read about people. Read autobiographies. Read about art forms other than magic. See what interests people. क्योंकि अगर आप अपना art form किसी और के interests के around circle कर सकते हो, तो वो बहुत ज्यादा better हो जाता है. Like the Virat video, which is my best
Hmm.
performing video, it's based around his
Yes.
life.
Right.
It's based around the things, his childhood friend and all. So automatically it is more personal to him. Another
Hmm.
thing that I think, another skill that people should have as a performer is showmanship, not just magic.
Hmm.
Standing on stage, talking to people, modulating your voice in a way that people pay attention to you. So that कई बार होगा, मेरे साथ बहुत बार हुआ है, मैं स्टेज पे खड़ा हुआ हूँ and then there is no one listening. So I have to get everybody's attention. In fact, sir, आपने जो मेरा भी शो देखा था, this was I think धर्मशाला में जनवरी
January,
में I think.
Dharamshala, January 2020. Yes.
Right. So when the show started, तब कोई भी, बहुत कम लोग थे ऑडियंस में. तब
Huh.
इधर उधर
Huh.
पीछे बार खोला हुआ था, कुछ लोग ड्रिंक्स कर रहे थे,
Yes.
म्यूजिक बज रहा था. तो आई हैड टू स्टार्ट बाय गेटिंग एवरीबडी in one place so that everybody can pay attention.
Right.
अगर वो आप कर सको, and if people can listen to you, अगर तुम, my motto is that if you give me 30 seconds of your time, I know that you will be spending time with me for 30 minutes if I get 30
Yes.
seconds of your time.
Yes. Yes.
But getting
Yes.
that first 30 seconds is difficult. Getting that first 30 seconds comes from showmanship. So you need to have that showmanship. You need to
Hmm.
be able to perform for people. You need to be able to talk to people. So that I
Hmm.
think is extremely important. That's one of my most, I think that's the most important skill they need to pick up is showmanship, talking to people so that they need to pay attention to you. चार ही हैं, पांचवा मैं अपने पास रखा हूँ. Wear black clothes. That's my fifth
ठीक
skill.
है.
My fifth skill is wear black clothes.
Do you also need some sort of a formal education in terms of somebody also asked that do you need to learn psychology or body language reading? Do you need to go through that formal process or is it just a skill you learn on the go?
See, I mean, yes, there is a certain skill that you learn on the go. Obviously, आप जितना ज़्यादा perform करोगे, आप उतना ज़्यादा learn
Right.
करोगे. मगर
Hmm.
automatically it is difficult to see. Formal education मेरी खुद की नहीं है इसमें. I haven't studied psychology. I haven't had formal education. And the reason I don't have formal education क्योंकि मुझे exams नहीं देने थे. I didn't want to sit
Hmm.
through exams. I didn't want to
Right.
give exams on psychology. क्योंकि अगर मैं psychology पढ़ता, there would have been illnesses that I would have already studied about, mental illnesses and so on, which I might have had to give exams on. वो मुझे नहीं इंटरेस्ट कर रहा था. मेरे को जो इंटरेस्ट कर रहा था was people's life stories, why people react the way they react. तो उसके लिए मुझे फॉर्मल एजुकेशन नहीं करनी थी. I read a lot of books, बहुत सारी बुक्स पढ़ी मैंने, बहुत सारी वीडियोस देखी, and all of those sort of combined together is what makes it so interesting. The formal education मेरी जो है is outside of psychology. It's not within psychology. My formal education,
Okay.
I've studied theater. I've studied that.
Hmm.
So the
Hmm.
showmanship comes from that.
Yeah.
Baki psychology, I don't have formal education, and it's not important for you to have it. अगर आप magic, if you're interested in it, आप अपना खुद पढ़ना शुरू करो, खुद सीखना शुरू करो. I think automatically you'll get into the swing of things.
And one more thing, and magic banane ke liye, when you make tricks, again, what sort of skill set do you need? Like, is there any guidebook that you have? As in, not the guidebook like specifically, but is there a process you follow, or is there some learning curve you have to have while making a magic trick? When you're making it. So let's give us a little slight input on that.
See, to be relevant to the audience right now around the world, अब
Hmm.
मेरी जो मेरे को पता
Hmm.
है मेरी ऑडियंस जो है वो 18 से 30 साल के लोग हैं. 18 to 30 year
Hmm.
olds are people who are watching my videos or are coming for my shows. तो
Hmm.
उनके लिए मैजिक अपील करना is it has to be something that they can relate. Magic is not something that anybody can relate to. कोई सुबह उठ के नहीं
Hmm.
सोचता कि आज मैजिक देखना है मेरे को. कोई नहीं सोचता ऐसा.
Hmm.
Unless you have a very very sad life, कोई नहीं सोचता कि सुबह उठ के मुझे मैजिक देखना है. तो it's very important that you have to appeal to a modern audience. So to appeal to a
Hmm.
modern audience, आपको पता होना चाहिए कि उनको क्या पसंद आ रहा है. And you can
Hmm.
revolve a trick around that. Like आजकल I'm playing a lot of chess online.
Yes,
And
with Samay
there's
Raina.
a with समय. So समय और मैं बहुत ज्यादा चेस खेलते हैं. समय ने चेस स्ट्रीम करना शुरू करा, तो मुझे पता था कि
Hmm.
ऑटोमेटिकली एक ऑडियंस वो बन गई जो चेस देखना चाहती है एंड दे आर इंटरेस्टेड
Hmm.
इन चेस. तो अगर मैं एक ट्रिक बना सकता हूँ which revolves around chess, so the idea of the trick comes later. The theme of the trick comes first. एक बार मुझे
Oh,
थीम
very
मिल जाएगा,
interesting.
उसके अराउंड फिर मैं ट्रिक बना लूंगा. क्योंकि लाइक इन म्यूजिक
Hmm.
सारे गामा पाधने से अगर मैं सीखता हूँ, those are
Hmm.
seven surs. Same way मैजिक 7 चीजें होंगी जो मुझे आती हैं, उसके अराउंड में फिर कुछ भी बना सकता हूँ.
Hmm.
जैसे वो
Hmm.
7 surs के साथ you can make any music, the same way the 7 skills के साथ you can make any trick. तो एक बार मुझे थीम मिल जाता है, I go for the theme first
Hmm.
and then I create the trick around that.
When I talk to creators, solopreneurs, people who are performers, I see a lot of similarity between entrepreneurs who are technically again creators, and so like you say, be aware about what your audience wants, be empathetic, have love towards what you're doing, do whatever something you've already said. Persuasion. I think the fundamentals are common with every creator, no matter what you do,
Absolutely
right?
true. Any profession, यार, fundamentals will
Any
always
profession.
remain the same. एक दो
Hmm.
चीजें अलग होंगी, बाकी it's just life skills यार. Any
Hmm.
profession that you do, life skills are more important than your professional skills. Life skills
Right.
अगर solid होती हैं, the professional skills एक दो चीजें extra होती हैं which you just need to add on, and then you be the best at what you are.
I think that's a highlight of the session that you've spoken about the importance of life skills. I think people should definitely need to go. You said कि जब आप किसी चीज को प्यार करते हो, आप pursue करोगे, काट तक बनाओगे, काट गिरेंगे भी सही. Your first ever video on YouTube is performing for Darren Brown People who do not know Darren Brown is an English mentalist, illusionist, and an author. And I'm sure he's much senior to you. And you were in early stage of your career or midway of your career. And your bloody first ever card trick fails. पहला YouTube वीडियो, पहला ट्रिक जो YouTube पे
पहले
जाने
मिनट
वाला
में
है,
हक
and
दिया।
वो पहले let us put it that way, पहले मिनट में हक दिया, आप वो फेल हो गया. How was that experience? So I want you to now talk a little about how has been your journey around failures and successes, and also give us a slight insight around your performance, your life, around your people whom you admire and kind of look up to, somebody like a Darren Brown or David Blaine. I think you have a 2-part or 1-part blog around meeting meeting David Blaine. You have performed for Dynamo. Let's talk a bit about that now.
So, like you said, first we were Darren Brown. Darren Brown is still someone who's my literal idol. मेरा काम होता है to go
Okay.
to Darren Brown. Every 6 months I travel to London और मैं Darren Brown को live देखता हूँ. Every 6 months. I was
Oh,
supposed to be in
that's
London last
nice.
week. Last week I was
Oh,
supposed to be in London, but obviously वो नहीं हुआ. And I look up to him. He's my mentor. He's the person that I take inspiration from. And जब भी मैं लंदन में होता हूँ, I love to see him perform. And this was, I'll tell you the story behind, since you're asking about
sure.
success and failure.
Yeah,
You have
absolutely.
to, you have to work towards your success. जैसे मैंने starting में बोला था, to have success, you have to be hard work and you have to be persistent. So I remember this video that you're talking about was filmed on 17th of February 2012. It was 11:30 at night. It was 1 degree in just outside of London. बहुत ठंड थी. मैं gloves पहन के खड़ा था. बहुत ज़्यादा ठंड लग रही थी. जितने मेरे पास कपड़े थे, that was my first time in London. जितने मेरे पास कपड़े थे, मैंने सारे पहने हुए थे. And I booked tickets to see Darren Brown in August 2011. So 6 months before I'd gone for that show. उन 6 महीनों में 180 दिन before I went, every single day, I tweeted to Darren Brown saying that I'm a magician from India. I'm coming for your show. I would love to meet you. Every single day for 180 days, I tweeted. एक बार भी reply नहीं आया. After 180 days, not a single time did I get a reply because of course he has over 1 million followers. क्यों देखेगा मैं मेरा? And
सही
then
बात
on
है.
the day of the show, I sent my 181st tweet that I'm coming today evening. Please meet me after the show. Please meet me before the show. I've come all the way from India. ये पूरा लिखा मैंने, full sentimental story. And his manager got in touch then that
Wow.
please wait outside the stage door after the show. Darren would love to meet you. पहले तो मुझे लगा कि कोई prank कर रहा है मेरे ऊपर. फिर मैं उसकी profile पे गया. I saw Darren Brown follows him and everything. I'm like, yeah, this looks legit. And after the show, I waited outside, and there were about 10-15 more people who he was meeting. He came out, was sabse mile, and I'm just standing there just looking because he's literally God for me. I'm looking at him meeting everyone, and he's giving time to every single person. Unka show khatam ho gaya. He has no business talking to them. Everybody loves them, but he's talking to them. He's spending a lot of time with them. That taught me that your art form means nothing if you can't be kind to people. His kindness,
Yes.
his humbleness, his humility towards human beings just made me fall in love with him. Then he came to me, and then I told him full squeaky voice में जो मेरी अभी भारी आवाज है वो 8-10 साल पहले नहीं थी जो मेरी आवाज है oh I've come from India I really want to meet you I'm a magician मैं पूरा पागल हो गया था and I was doing that and then as stupid as I could possibly get I said can I do a trick for you पता नहीं मैं क्या सोच रहा था उस पॉइंट पे that I want to show Darren Brown trick पता नहीं कहाँ से guts आ गए थे मेरे में but then I did a trick for him and it failed it went wrong and at that moment he could have gone on he could have met somebody else if you see in the
Hmm.
video
Yes.
he says do you want to try again and
Hmm.
that was success to failure within like 3 minutes 5 minutes जितनी भी लंबी video है success to failure journey is within those 5 minutes because I
Right.
failed the first time but if I would have failed then, if I didn't have somebody like Darren Brown telling me, "Do you want to try again?" I probably would have left Magic because I failed at the biggest stage that I'd had at that point. But then he gave me the
Hmm.
confidence, and he was nice enough to say, "Do you want to try again?" And I tried again, and it works. And in the end, the last bit of the video is Darren Brown saying, "I have absolutely no idea how you did that." And
Yes.
that for me was validation to another level. This was the man I had woken up seeing every single day for my entire adult life. And I
Hmm.
sleep to his videos, I wake up to his videos. That was my life. And to get that that is a journey of success to failure within those 3 minutes. उन 3 minutes में मैं करण सिंह से करण सिंह मैजिक बन गया था. In those 3 minutes, it's impossible to be a performer
Yeah.
and not get booed off stage. I've been booed off stage.
Yes.
I've had shows जहाँ पे 5 लोग बैठे हैं ऑडियंस में, जिसमें से 2 मेरे मम्मी पापा हैं. I've had that. That is a failure. But you have to have those. You have to be able to do shows for 2 or 3 people. Only then will you have shows for thousands of people. So that
Right.
failure is so. I know a lot of people romanticize the idea of failure, and I won't romanticize it. It's not a good feeling. It is a terrible feeling to fail, but I think it's very, very important to fail. It's very, very important to have that failure, so that you can appreciate the success that you have. Also, you can understand what is happening to you can get taken away someday, because you have failed in the past. What is to say that you can't fail again? So it keeps you grounded also. So it's important to fail.
I want you to give me some highlight कि अगर आज 2020 में if somebody wants to now start pursuing magic or illusion or this art form as a career, right? One, I want to kind of understand from you, what should he learn other than the skills you have spoken about already, right? One. Second, how has the industry changed now? And of course, you have kind of given me a hint initially that all those people who are not digitally active have had a loss. But I want you to give more insights around how your industry has changed.
Yeah, see, the live performance industry. If you look at the first word of that is live. वो तो बचा ही नहीं ना. You can't go on stage. You can't have an
Right.
audience in front of you. My life until very recently was leaving my home every evening at 7, going to a comedy club, a theater, an auditorium, a stadium, and performing for people. That was my
Right.
life. That was what I did. And come 24th March, all of that went away. It's been 4.5 months. This is the longest I've been in my life without stepping onto stage. And stage is what I live for, yeah. It is my life. I can't do without being on stage. It is literally the air that I breathe. So it's taken a terrible turn because live shows nahi honge ab. You won't be perform. I mean, I don't know. Even when this gets okay, I don't know when I'll be able to step on stage and performing for people. And I miss that. I miss that a lot. But it's very important that you adapt to whatever situation you're in. अब ऐसा नहीं है कि खाली मेरा काम इफेक्ट हो रहा है. ऐसा नहीं है कि खाली मेरे साथ ही कोविड हो रहा है. पूरी दुनिया के साथ हो रहा है. So everybody is home. And everybody needs to have a smile on their face because every day you wake up, you read आज इतने लोग मर गए, आज इतने cases हो गए, आज ये हो गया, आज वो हो गया. You need something to put a smile on your face. And as a performer, as an entertainer, it's my duty to do that. So I came up with this idea where I can perform for people like this, like I'm talking to you right now. I start performing for people like this. I start performing people online on FaceTime, Skype, Zoom, whatever platform they wanted. I went and I started performing. It is very, very interesting because it is the only time in my life where I will have an audience where every single person has a front row seat. सबके पास front row seat है.
Yes.
सब बिल्कुल
Yes.
पास से देख सकते हैं आपको. सब आपसे interact कर सकते हैं. The show that you saw of mine, when I was on stage, I think वहाँ पे 400-500 जितने भी लोग थे. If I'm getting somebody on stage, I speak to like 10-12 people in a course of 1.5 hour का show, जो भी होता है. उसके बाद the rest of the people just get to see. In these shows, and उस time पे I could do maximum 2 shows a day because अलग-अलग cities में travel करना तो time भी लगेगा. Now I'm at a point where I can do 20 shows a day. मुझे सिर्फ अपने stool पे बैठना है, camera on करना है और लोगों के लिए perform करना है. So I'm trying to make this. I mean, it's not ideal, but it's the best of a bad situation. I'm trying to do that. I can do 20 shows a day, and I can connect to every single person. जो भी front row seat पे बैठा है, I can speak to them. They can interact with me. They can ask me questions. We can answer back. This type of interaction will never happen at a live show. It's not the same as a live show. It never will be because you don't have that energy. You don't have that vibe. You don't have that applause. You don't have that feel of being on stage. But because it is a situation like this, you have to make the best of a bad situation. So I'm trying to do the best I can. I know a lot of people, a lot of my contemporaries are suffering in it. A lot of other artists are also going through a very difficult time. But I think all of us as artists can come up with something which which touches people's hearts, because you're literally going into their homes. Yeah, you can do that. When else will you have this opportunity?
I think that's very inspirational. Rather, when you say that everybody is in the front row and everybody can see you so closely, I think that's really motivating. I think that's a good thought. And also, talking from the reaction point of view, I think that Gujarati boy reaction is one of the craziest videos, right? I can see that guy literally goes mad. And with that, I can also, from the industry point of view, or from the profession point of view, I think I can also add one thing, that now you are also able to capture the audience which in general might not have come and see you. Let us say, when you talk about the Gujarati guy, he
Yes,
took that phone.
yes, that's very true. क्योंकि अगर मैं इंडिया टूर करता हूँ, आई नो मेरी
Hmm,
ऑडियंस कहाँ कहाँ, आई नो माई एनालिटिक्स, आई नो मेरा बैक एंड पे कौन से लोग कौन सी सिटी से सबसे ज्यादा हैं, तो ऑटोमेटिकली मैं शोज उन्हीं सिटीज में करूंगा. If there is
hmm,
one person sitting in a remote corner anywhere in India, let's say I don't have that big an audience in Assam, for example. तो अगर
right.
असम में कोई कोई मेरी वीडियोस देखता है, they might never
Hmm,
get to see me perform live. क्योंकि अगर मेरी ऑडियंस
hmm.
नहीं ग्रो होती, it won't make any business sense for me to go to Assam and do a show. But now
Absolutely.
they can. Now they can. They can just buy a ticket. They can come online and they can watch me perform through their screens. I can talk to them. I can do a trick on them. I can read their mind. So yes, that it is that opportunity for anyone that I might not be able to reach to live. I can
Mhm.
reach through them like this.
You're a person who treats applause and reaction as a currency and not just money, right? So let's talk
Ah, that's
about
beautiful.
money a bit.
Yeah, I think I've never performed for money. Money has never been my motivation. I have never thought कि यार मैं इस टाइम तक इतने पैसे कमा लूंगा तो शायद मैं ये गाड़ी खरीद पाऊँ, ये घर खरीद पाऊँ या ये कपड़े खरीद पाऊँ, whatever. I've never
Hmm,
had that. I've never had that motivation कि मुझे इतने पैसे कमाने हैं और मुझे अमीर बनना है. I've never had that.
hmm,
My
hmm,
motive has always been that I want to do what I love, and
hmm,
I want to do it so well that I don't
hmm,
have to ask कि मुझे पैसे दे दो. I don't have to go and say, oh, this is how much I charge for a show. I think
hmm,
people now know that yes, there's a certain audience that I build, there's a certain kind of show that I do, and they know how much it is worth to them. अगर मैं जाके अभी बोलूँ कि मैं 3,000 रुपए की टिकट बेचूंगा, कोई नहीं खरीदेगा. मुझे पता है कि मुझे
hmm,
ऑडियंस है 18 से 30 साल के लोग, मुझे पता है वो कितना खर्च कर सकते हैं. I know
hmm,
what it'll be worth to them, and I know that the reason I would happily do it for free also. I'm someone
hmm,
who will happily do shows for free because I love it. I truly love performing for people, and I'll happily do it for free. But obviously that's not how the world works. So
right.
I have to have a certain amount of money to be able to live the kind of life that I want to live. I want to be comfortable. I
Hmm,
want to fend for my family. I want to, yes, there are a few things that I like which I want to do. मुझे I
hmm,
know this will sound very privileged, but मुझे हर 6 महीने लंदन जाके डेरन ब्राउन देखना है. मैं उसके लिए उतने पैसे कमा लूं, मैं खुश हूं. I know that's more sort of than anyone might hope for, and I've been lucky enough to be able to earn that. I get asked every
right.
now and then. I think शायद आपके पास भी एक question होगा. I'm sorry if I'm eating into it. People ask
Go
me
ahead. Go
that.
ahead.
People ask me that. Oh, till when do you plan to do this? अगर मैं magic कर रहा हूँ, my parents have also asked me. My people around me have asked me. कब तक करोगे? मैं जिंदगी
Hmm,
भर करूंगा ये. मैं till I die on my deathbed, I will do a card trick. That is my dream. That when I'm dying, I want to do a card trick. That's how I want to go out. Because I mean, it's what I live for. There's nothing else that I see myself doing. That is my life. That is who I am, and you can't take that away from me. Nothing can take that
hmm.
away from me.
Initial days में money is very critical and money is very important. As I said, the biggest reasons why parents go out and tell people to adopt for a conventional career is because they want security, nothing else. राइट. तो आप इंजीनियर बन गए तो नौकरी लगी जाएगी, डॉक्टर बन गए तो नौकरी लगी जाएगी, बट भाई मजिशियन बनोगे तो पता नहीं क्या होगा, या गिटारिस्ट बनोगे तो पता नहीं क्या होगा. दैट्स वन थिंग, राइट? सो हाउ हैज बीन द रोल ऑफ मनी in the initial days in a career? Were you able to manage it, not manage it? How was it monetary wise?
See, I was very lucky. I
And also
found something
advice for young people, some, how what do you want to tell them?
cool.
Yeah.
See, I was very lucky. I found something that I love when I was very young.
Mhm.
अगर आप 11 से 18 साल के बीच में हो and you find something that you truly love, don't let anyone tell you anything. Love it, do it every single day. That's what I did. So when I was 16 years old, that's the first time I did a show which I got paid for. I was 16. That's when I earned my first paycheck. तब मुझे मिले थे 5 घंटे मैंने परफॉर्म किया. इट वाज अ 1 year old's बर्थडे पार्टी एंड आई हैड टू गो फ्रॉम टेबल टू टेबल टू टेबल परफॉर्मिंग फॉर पीपल. 5 घंटे मैंने करा था, 1,000 रुपए मिले थे मेरे को. And I remember as a 16-year-old, I thought I have 1,000 rupees. That is more money
Hmm.
that I had ever seen in my life. Because as a
Hmm.
16-year-old, 1,000 rupees is a lot of money. And I did
Right.
that every second week. Every 2 weeks, I was hired at the same hotel to perform at 1-year-old birthday parties.
Hmm.
I got
Hmm.
1,000 rupees for it, and I was very, very happy. And because I was lucky that I was young, money
Hmm.
didn't have to be a motivation. I had parents who could
Hmm.
support me. I had parents who could give me food, and basics were sorted thanks to my parents. But after that,
Hmm.
uh, once I started doing shows, खुद को भी होता है that I don't want to take money from my parents. गाड़ी में पेट्रोल भराना है, I want to do that on my own.
Right.
अगर गाड़ी नहीं है, I need to be able to pay for a cab or a rickshaw on my own. I need to have
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
I need to have that own security that I have. So
Hmm.
you work in a way that money
Hmm.
comes to you. You don't work towards
Hmm.
money, you do what you
Hmm.
love, especially if you're in that
Hmm.
11 to 18-year-old bracket. If you're in that 11
Hmm.
to 18-year-old bracket, spend hours and hours and hours and hours doing what you love. Don't, of
Hmm.
course, there has to be a point where you don't ignore the other essentials. Do what you love, do it as much as you can, and there is no reason why you won't earn a living out of it. There is no reason why it won't make you happier than anything else. Also, with money, I think this is something that I've recently learned that the career that I'm in, it'll be more front loaded than back loaded. लोग अगर 20-30 साल काम करते हैं, they start earning secure 50-55 years के होते हैं, they get that security, they have the house they want, they have the family they want, they have that car they want, and then they
Right.
can live the rest of their life with the money that they have. Being in a profession that I'm in, I have to be energetic on stage. I have to perform on stage as a younger person. I'm below 30, so I can do that. I can have more
Hmm.
energy. So I will get paid more right now. But as I get older, there'll be better performers, there'll be better magicians, there'll be better entertainers, there'll be younger, more powerful performers that will come along. So when I'm
Right.
50, I won't earn as much as my father or my mother might earn when they're 50.
Right.
So in at this time, I have to manage money in a way as well that I can save it. So that
Hmm.
later when I'm 50 years old and maybe I'm not getting as many shows as I might be getting right now, I have to be able to fend for myself at that time.
Hmm.
इतना
Hmm.
आप दिमाग में रखो that आपकी खुद की जिंदगी, आपकी खुद की नीड्स क्या हैं, आपको पता होनी चाहिए. And you should just be able to fulfill that. There should be no other factor determining what money you earn. कि आसपास के पड़ोसी वाले अंकल क्या कहते हैं, फैमिली क्या कहती है, कितना पैसा होना चाहिए, कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ना चाहिए. As long as you can fend for yourself, you can do what you have to do, you can get things that you want. That is all you need in life. Nothing else is needed.
I think that's super, uh, insightful. Let me put it that way. For any person in unconventional career, other than the skill and the society and the performing art and the learning and money, I think family has a very important, very critical role. No matter who you are, right? What's been the role of your family in your entire journey? Supportive, non-supportive, in your entire grooming till now, and also I want to add a little highlight from your side because I know the answer, of course, and but I want you to elaborate a little on that. Uh, what about somebody whose family is not supportive? उन बच्चों को, उन परफॉर्मर्स को, उन स्टार्ट करने वाले लोगों को, उन अर्ली स्टेज प्रोफेशनल को क्या करना चाहिए? What's your take on that? What was your journey? What your background relation with family, and then what you advise as a professional in this industry?
Yeah, okay. So I've been lucky enough that I have a supportive family. But again, it's not so supportive कि जो करना है करो. It always
Hmm.
was, my mom always said that please have a career that you can fall back onto, a plan B. कि अगर magic fail हो जाता है, then तू क्या करेगा?
Hmm.
कि तेरे पास क्या करने के लिए? What are you qualified to do? And I'm not qualified to do
Right.
anything. So,
Hmm.
and there was always that. What will you fall back onto? My dad said, तुझे जो करना है कर, as long as you're not breaking the law and you're earning money, I'm happy. Do whatever you want. So that was this
Super.
weird double thing कि यहाँ तो dual career करो, यहाँ जितने पैसे कमाने हैं कमाओ, बस law नहीं break करना. That was the two things that I had.
Right.
I rebelled against the idea कि मेरे को plan B नहीं चाहिए. जो अगर जैसी
Hmm.
this is I'm sure social media पे लोगों ने पढ़ा होगा, but I resonate with that. Plan B, the moment you have a plan B, you are
Hmm.
preparing for failure.
Right.
I never wanted to prepare for failure. This is the only plan I had. This is the only thing I love. This is the only thing I wanted to do. And
Hmm.
you have to be able to do it so well that you can prove to anybody कि ये और कुछ करने के बना ही नहीं है. I can't do anything else, and people need to say that instead of you saying that. अभी तक होता है यार. If I go to a family wedding or a family function, people ask me, what do you do? I say I'm a magician. And then, नहीं वो तो ठीक है, but करते क्या हो?
अच्छा,
They, they,
okay.
they, they don't believe. Even now, this happened last week. Last week, somebody had called my dad and they asked me, how's Karan doing? क्या कर रहा है आजकल? My dad told them, he's like, नहीं वो तो ठीक है, but करता क्या है? This happened last week. Yeah, after doing all the shows that I've done, people still ask that. So that will happen. As for people who don't have supportive families, it is very unlucky to not have a supportive family. But the thing is, at the end of the day, I think you also touched upon this, but I'll just take it from there कि आपके माँ बाप आपको
Sure.
गरीब नहीं देखना चाहते. That's the only thing. Your parents don't want to see you becoming poor. वो ये थोड़ी चाहते हैं अगर आपको किसी चीज में मजा आ रहा है तो मत करो. The only thing they want is that you have a secure future, and they think their life experiences have taught them that कि शायद ये जो करियर है इस पे हमारा बेटा या बेटी पैसे ना कमा पाए तो हम क्या करेंगे. So it's important for you to educate them as well because they are in a time where it's alien to them यार. वो जब पैदा हुए थे अगर आप 18-19 साल के हो वो कम से कम 40-50 साल के होंगे. So they were in a phase where गाड़ियां नहीं थी, मोबाइल फोन नहीं थे, इंटरनेट नहीं था यार. So you have to reverse educate. पूरी जिंदगी आप उन्होंने आपको एजुकेट करा. Now you have to educate them about a few things. That yes, you can do things which you want to do. You can do things which feel right to you, and you can prove it to them. The thing that I did with my mom, she said, "Ke you have to have a dual career." I said, "मैं को नहीं करना dual career. I don't want to have something to fall back onto." Then I made a deal with her कि मेरे को 1 साल मिलेगा. उस 1 साल में मैं जितने शोज कर सकता हूँ, I have to prove to her that I can make magic a living. उस 1 साल में I went from door to door. I went literally event agencies, offices. I went in Delhi and Mumbai, wherever I could, telling them I'm a magician. Went to bars, went to lounges, went to cafes. That पहले तो लोगों को पता ही नहीं होता कि magician क्या है. हम कैफे में क्यों रखे magician? Circus में होना चाहिए magician तो. So I have to educate them first कि मैं करता क्या हूँ, and then take it from there and build on that. At the end of that 1 year, I had earned very little money. And I hadn't proved to my mom that I can do this for a living. But every single event person in Delhi knew who I was. And
Right.
from there, I built that base that I can do shows. I can perform around the country. So that year was very important. And I think my mom also understood that I'm putting in that effort. अगर आपके माँ बाप सपोर्टिव नहीं है, अगर आप वो देखते हैं कि आप अपने पूरी जिंदगी उस एक चीज के पीछे लगा रहे हो, नहीं मना करेंगे यार. कोई भी नहीं करेगा. Their only fear is that they want you to have a good, successful life. If you can prove
Right.
to them that the thing that you love can give you a successful life, there is no reason they won't support you.
I think that's a great insight. So, मतलब माँ बाप को prove कर दो and be sorted with your skills, and I think you are sorted as a performer. You can then,
हाँ यार, आई
you know,
डोंट थिंक माँ बाप भाई बहन के अलावा कोई मैटर करता है यार. आपकी इमीडिएट फैमिली के अलावा कोई दूर के चाचा चाची मामा मामी कोई कुछ भी कहते नहीं, फर्क पड़ना चाहिए. As long as your mom dad you are happy, I don't think anything should matter.
you have a very strong inspiration, a very strong influence from your grandparents, both your grandfather and grandmother, right? And I for sure want you to talk about that a bit because I think that's super motivational. मतलब literally जब आप उन दोनों बातों को सुनते हो आप हिल जाते हो. मतलब ऐसा सपोर्ट और इस तरह की एडवाइस अगर आपको कोई दे देना लाइफ में, मुझे लगता नहीं है कि आप पलट के आपको जरूरत पड़ेगी कुछ भी देखने की. एंड मुझे लगता है दैट somehow as a kid would have definitely would have become like a milestone in your entire professional journey. Karan, let's talk about that.
So मेरी लाइफ की the first memory of my life is as a 3-year-old, and मैं दिल्ली में था, and my mom and dad were working. My brother used to go to school. क्योंकि मैं नर्सरी केजी में था, मेरा स्कूल 10:30-11 बजे तक खत्म हो जाता था. And I used to spend my day with my dada and my dadi. And my dada said this quote to me, which is what I've based my life on. I've read that quote several other times, but maybe पहली memory is my grandfather saying it to me, which was जिंदगी में काम करो तो ऐसा करो कि काम को खुशी हो कि तुमने उसे किया. If you do something, do it so well that the work is happy that you did it. And that has been the basis of my life. Because if you truly love something, then nothing else matters. And that is the advice that I got from him, and that's what I based my life on. That is exactly what I based my life on. मुझे कुछ भी करना है, and I'm doing magic, I want to do it so well that magic is happy that Karan is performing it. I think that is the thing that I based my life on. Other thing was, I'll tell you the backstory of the other thing as well, how it came about. This was 2012. मैंने shows करने शुरू कर दिए. This is after I met Darren Brown. और मैंने काफी shows करने शुरू कर दिए थे और मेरे दिमाग में था कि मैं बहुत arrogant बन गया हूँ. I had become that. I had become
And
that man.
how old were you?
I was 20 years old. And
अच्छा, ठीक है.
at the age of 20, I was like, this is who I am. I don't care what anybody else has to say. I am this magician, I am that magician, I have this, that. 2000 लोग हैं मेरे Facebook पे, मेरे को लगता था बहुत बड़ी achievement है वो. And I lived my life around that, and I became this person कि मैं ऐसी shows करूंगा, ये करूंगा, वो करूंगा. So one day I was sitting with my dadi, and I got a phone call that said, "Okay, we are an NGO. We have this show coming. Would you be willing to perform?" And I very to this day I am. If anybody from the NGO is listening, I'm very sorry, but I remember that day I said I don't perform for NGOs, and I hung up. I did that on the phone. And my dadi was sitting next to me, and till her dying days, she didn't know what I did for a living. उनको नहीं पता था कि मैं क्या करता हूँ. So she just said that मुझे नहीं पता कि तू क्या करता है और क्यों करता है, मगर जिंदगी में एक दिन ऐसा आएगा जब काम नहीं मिलेगा, तब बहुत बुरा लगेगा. तो काम को कभी ना नहीं करते. So I was told that by my grandmother that never say no to work. There will come a day where you will not find work and you will feel miserable about it. You always have to make sure that you can work in a way that you don't have to go around looking for work. Work should come to you and you should never say no to it. कोई काम छोटा बड़ा नहीं होता यार. कोई शो छोटा बड़ा नहीं होता. मेरे को आज भी लोग बोलेंगे 10 लोग के लिए शो करना है, मैं करूंगा. I love to do it and I'll never say no to it. And that those two pieces of advice is pretty much what my life is based on.
How is modern magic different than traditional magic? How has the industry evolved from the general point of view, from the skill set point of view, and how do you see industry going ahead and forward?
Yeah, it's changed immensely, and it changes every 6 years. It is an art form that changes every 6 years because magic
Okay.
is based on the idea of surprise. किसी इंसान ने 6 साल पहले कुछ सरप्राइजिंग चीज देखी होगी, 6 साल बाद उसको सरप्राइजिंग नहीं लगेगी. एक बार किसी ने देख लिया कि कट के वापस जुड़ा है, वो फिर से कभी नहीं देखेगा. You have to keep evolving. 50 years ago, magic was that cutting somebody in half, putting them back together, making something disappear. कुछ उड़ा के दिखा दिया, कहीं से rose appear हो गया out of nowhere. That is what magic was. Then
Right.
card tricks came. Then coin tricks came. People started performing with a deck of cards. People started making coins disappear. जो card tricks थे, card pick करो, मैं बता दूंगा आपका कौन सा card है. That started happening. What I did, what I think that has worked for me, is that I made magic about the person that I'm doing it for, as opposed to look what I can do. It wasn't कि ये दो कार्ड पिक करा और मैं बता सकता हूँ क्या है. It didn't matter. It was about the person that I'm doing it for. It's about you. Magic is, I think, like I said this before, I'd say it again. Magic is about the person that you're performing for. So it's changed in the sense that I can talk to people and I can make my performance about them. I can make it who they are.
Right.
There's a video that I've done with Bhuvan. The first video that I did with Bhuvan Bam was
Yeah.
he loves music. His life before he became a YouTuber was music. So I
Yes.
got him to think of his favorite song from his musician days. Automatically now, it is something that he relates to. It's something that he connects to. It's no longer about can I figure out what are you thinking of. It's now about his life experience, his journey, his moment within that magic. So that's how it's changed. If you look at it from the global perspective, uh, David Blaine changed magic in 1997 when he started performing on the street. Then Dynamo came, he changed magic. Darren Brown changed magic where he got the mind reading involved. Now America's Got Talent is changing magic. There's this man called Shane Lim. I'm sure a lot of people would have
Yeah.
heard of him.
Yes.
He won America's Got Talent and his videos get like 60, 70 million views. यार मतलब इतनी views बहुत रहे गानों को नहीं आते यार कई बार 60, 70 million views. And that has changed magic. People's idea to magic will change constantly and you have to change with it. Every 6 years, something new will come around which will change the game completely. And it's up to you as a performer to be able to adapt to a newer age audience. And my only hope for myself is that I can continue doing that. Even when I'm 50
Right.
years old, I can think like what my audience will think like and adapt my performance to them. Because if you can't do that, then you failed slightly.
So I have a rapid fire for you, Karan, and
Okay.
a few interesting, non-serious questions that I want to ask, and then we'll pick up the questions from the audience. So,
Cool.
why do you always wear black?
I will reveal this when I have 500,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel.
Guys, go and subscribe. Or
Go
of
and
course,
subscribe.
most of them who are coming here are your subscribers and not mine. Guys,
But
go and subscribe my channel.
subscribe to Dilnawaz Khan. Definitely do that. He's putting out great content.
Thank you. Okay, why are you called Karan Singh Magic?
यार गलती से my name was Karan Singh and a friend of mine back then bought a DSLR camera and 2009-2010 में बहुत सारे पेजेस आने शुरू हुए थे XYZ नाम followed by photography तो दिलनवाज खान photography करण सिंह photography
Yeah.
जो भी random नाम followed by photography
Hmm.
and a friend of mine made a Facebook page friend of mine called Sahil he made my Facebook page and he called it Karan Singh Magic because I was Karan Singh and I did magic and that
ठीक
name
है.
just stuck it's just a name that's been stuck and now everybody who meets me कोई मुझे
Hmm.
एयरपोर्ट पे सड़क पे कोई मिलता भी है मिलने आता है रैंडम इंसान they won't say Karan
Hmm.
Singh they'll come and say Karan Singh Magic so it's become an identity
Hmm.
now
So you are now Karan Singh Magic, basically.
now
Okay.
I'm Karan Singh
Uh,
Magic that's who I am
People have a confusion. Are you a dropout or not a dropout? Are you a graduate or a
I am
dropout?
I
Okay.
didn't complete I was doing BCom and in my final year I did not give the exams so I dropped out of college but I studied theater after that professionally
Okay. Somebody asked that who's your role model? I think that's evident. You have spoken about Darren Brown already,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Another question that came in the chat: which one of the two, David Blaine or Dynamo?
David Blaine any day David Blaine because he's the one who got me into magic
Okay, perfect. Where is your crow?
My crow
Somebody,
crow का अलग
somebody
फैन
asked
बेस
where
चल
is
रहा
your crow?
है मेरे क्रो का अलग फैन बेस चल रहा है मेरे डीएम्स में क्रो और स्क्विरल की बातें चलती रहती हैं तो माय क्रो
हाँ,
सुबह आया था वो इस पेड़ पे बट अभी मुझे दिख नहीं रहा है तो आई डोंट थिंक द क्रो इज हियर राइट नाउ आई विल क्रो
okay.
देखने के लिए मैं इंस्टा स्टोरीज पे आओ
ठीक है, क्रो देखने के लिए करण की इंस्टा स्टोरी पे जाओ. ठीक है. When was your major breakthrough?
My major breakthrough was 2014. October 2014, I did a show for Pepsi. And 2013, sorry, October 2013, I did a show for Pepsi, and the audience had Indra Nui, who was the then CEO of Pepsi, and she was sitting in the
Okay,
audience.
okay.
And she gave a fantastic reaction, and from there, I started getting a lot of shows. So I think that was a major breakthrough.
When did you saw the magic for the first time?
First time I saw magic was when I was 5 years old. I saw it in Surajkund Mela, and I saw a
Okay.
magician there. That's my first memory of watching magic.
What would you tell a growing magician? How can they get shows?
They can get shows, like I said, go to cafes, go to event companies, speak to them, tell them you're a magician, show them a trick, show them what you do, and tell them that you're available for any kind of shows that you want to do. So they can pitch you accordingly. That's how you become.
Can you ask Karan sir how to learn mentalism specifically? I love the art and want to learn more about it, but I'm little lost.
Likhit, if you want to learn mentalism, you have to start with magic क्योंकि basics वो हैं card magic सीखो coin magic सीखो एक बार basics sort हो जाएंगे look up online you will find a lot of things the internet is your key to success look up online you'll find a lot of things on mentalism also
Perfect. Somebody from Students Union asked, what's your take on TV specials where mass magicians reveals how tricks are done?
there are a lot of pros and cons to it but I think overall that show has done a lot for magic and people don't realize it
Okay. How many shows do you usually do per year?
non-COVID year about 120 to 150
Okay. Right now?
right now I'm doing even more because I'm doing shows online so I've done 600 shows since the lockdown started
That's why I asked. Okay. Fortnighters, what do you think about David Blaine and his acts and stunts?
Oh, I love him. I think David Blaine is the most unique magician on the planet.
Okay. Ravi asked, what's your take on Huff paranormal compared to normal people you know better than us? Paranormal activities are real or not?
Oh, they're not real. Paranormal activities are not real at all. I think anything that you see is made to fool you.
Okay. So is magic real?
The thought of magic is real. Magic in itself probably isn't.
Did you have social anxiety before you started performing publicly?
I was nervous. I had stage fright. I didn't have social anxiety. I had stage fright. I was very introverted. I had trouble talking to people. But I can do that on stage. I still can't do it one-on-one.
Do you customize your tricks based on the audience for performance?
Yes, always.
Okay. In what year did you create a social media handles and how much time did it take to create a large audience?
YouTube, I put up my video with Darren Brown in 2012 and nothing happened for 3 years. I started uploading again in 2016, but then again, nothing happened. And then 2018 is when I truly got into it. And it blew up in July 2018 after the Virat video. But Instagram and Facebook, I've been doing since 2012, 2013.
How do you get contacts to do magic for actors?
Yeah, I think over time, if you keep doing shows and you do well enough, people will want to see you. Actors will want to see you. Celebrities will want to see you. It'll take time, but you'll get there.
What is the most rewarding part of being a magician?
When people meet me, even if they're sad, 5 minutes later, they'll have a smile on their face.
Fantastic. How does it feel to be Darren Brown of India?
Arey yaar, thank you so much. I'm happier being Karan Singh of India as opposed to Darren Brown of India. I'm happier being
Okay.
who I am than being.
In your words, what is the difference between magician and illusionist? Are both of them same or different?
It's the same. It's magic is the branch, illusion is a magic is the tree, illusion is a tiny branch of that.
What do you watch for your own entertainment?
Oh, बहुत ही दर्दनाक सवाल. What do I watch for my own entertainment? I watch random YouTube videos. I watch Sherlock, BBC Sherlock. I watch that a lot. I watch Friends. I play FIFA. That's how I keep myself entertained.
How do you feel when you first started performing for celebrities?
Yeah, initially it was a little daunting the first time, but after just the first time it was a little scary. After that, I thought, yeah, it's just another person. They're just
Right.
known by other people. That's the only thing. If you can be yourself, they'll like you for it.
Do you remember the first magic trick you practiced?
Yes, I remember the first trick I practiced. Yes,
Okay. What was that? Like, can you tell, or you want to know?
it was. I'll quickly show it if I can do it well.
Okay.
The
Okay.
first trick I did was something I saw David Blaine do. It took me 3 months to perfect it, which was basically you take a card and then it changes. So that's the first thing that I learned.
Okay, that's interesting. What was the moment for you as a magician which you can never forget? What's the most epic moment for you as a magician?
I got a message after Diwali party from the biggest star in the country. I got a text message that said, "Thanks for a very entertaining evening, Shah Rukh Khan."
How do you deal with hecklers in your live show?
I love hecklers. I think hecklers are a gift because you can. जैसे ही heckler दिखता है, मैं जैसे ही stage पे चढ़ता हूँ, the first thing I look for is a heckler. So that if I can
Okay.
shut that person up, if I make a joke on that heckler, पूरी audience को पता है that this is not a person we can mess with. बाकी show
Definitely.
पूरी जनता चुपचाप देखेगी.
Will Karan any day do his show in red or white or in blue or green or in any other color other than black?
No, Karan will never. Karan might step out of his house in another color than black, but he'll never ever do a show without wearing
Okay.
black.
Thank you so much. It's been 1 hour, 13 minutes, and we have been again chatting like 15, 20 minutes before that. I think this was super interesting, super fun conversation. Thank you so much for your time. I really
Thank you so
appreciate
much
it.
for having me.